It was one of those cold, gray evenings in New York City, when the streets glistened from fresh rain and the sky hung heavy with thunderclouds. Streetlights flickered, reflecting off puddles that mirrored the rush of yellow cabs and hurried footsteps. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, known to millions simply as AOC, had just finished a long day at a local community center in the Bronx. She'd spent hours meeting families, listening to their struggles, and handing out warm meals to children. Her feet ached, her throat was dry, and all she wanted now was a quiet cup of coffee before heading home. She slipped into a small corner cafe, the kind where time seems to slow down. The bell over the door jingled softly as she walked in, shaking the rain off her coat. She smiled politely at the barista, ordered a simple black coffee, and sat by the window, watching people hurry past under umbrellas. But something caught her attention. Across the street, down a dimly lit alleyway, a faint sound pierced through the noise of the city, a small, trembling voice. At first, she thought it was just a cat. Then she heard it again. It wasn't a cat. It was a cry, soft, frightened, desperate. Her heartbeat quickened. She leaned closer to the window, squinting through the rain. The street looked empty, but the sound came again, clearer this time. Help, please, someone help me. Without hesitation, Alexandria stood up, grabbed her umbrella, and rushed out into the rain. The wind whipped against her face, cold and sharp. She followed the sound, her heels clicking against the wet pavement. The alley was narrow, dim, and smelled of old garbage. Water dripped from broken gutters. Her phone's flashlight cut through the darkness as she called out, AOC, firm but gentle. Hello? Is someone there? Do you need help? No response, just the faint echo of the city. She took a few cautious steps forward, scanning behind trash cans and old boxes. Her instincts, the same ones that guided her in politics, told her something was very wrong. Then she saw it. Behind a large dumpster huddled against the brick wall was a little girl, no older than 7. Her wrists were tied with a piece of rough rope, her face streaked with dirt and tears. Her clothes were torn, and her knees were scraped. AOC, shocked. Oh my God. Hey, it's okay. I'm here to help you. The girl flinched at first, terrified, her big brown eyes filled with fear. Girl whispering, please, don't let them find me. Alexandria's heart shattered at those words. She quickly knelt down, loosening the rope with trembling hands. AOC, softly, you're safe now, sweetheart. I won't let anyone hurt you. But before she could finish, she froze. A shadow moved at the end of the alley, tall, slow, deliberate. Narrator, lower tone. Someone was there, watching. Her instincts screamed danger. She grabbed the little girl's hand, helping her stand. The girl's legs were weak, she could barely walk. AOC, we need to get out of here, okay? Can you run? Girl. I think so. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed closer. The shadow grew larger, darker. Rainwater rippled under boots. Alexandria turned her head slightly, trying to see who it was. A deep male voice called out from the darkness, unknown man. Hey, what do you think you're doing there? Her grip tightened on the girl's hand. Her heart raced. AOC, calm but firm. I'm helping a lost child. Who are you? No answer. Just silence followed by the unmistakable sound of metal, like a knife or gun being adjusted. Narrator. That was the moment Alexandria realized she wasn't dealing with ordinary strangers. She quickly pulled the girl behind her, whispering, AOC, stay close to me. Don't make a sound. The girl nodded, trembling. Alexandria slowly backed away, eyes fixed on the approaching figure. Her phone was still in her pocket. She couldn't risk pulling it out now. The wrong move could mean disaster. The man's face finally came into view, half hidden by a hood, his expression hard and unkind. Another man appeared behind him. 2 of them, both watching her. Kidnapper 1 angry. Put the kid down and walk away, lady. AOC's steady voice. She's terrified. I'm not leaving her. Kidnapper 2 mocking. You got no idea what you're getting into, sweetheart. Narrator. Her pulse pounded in her ears. Every instinct said run, but she couldn't. Not while this little girl clung to her arm like her only hope in the world. She took a deep breath, glancing toward the main road lights. People, safety just 30 yards away. If she could make it there, they might be safe. AOC whispering, on 3, we run. Don't stop until I say so. Girl shaking. Okay. The rain fell harder. The kidnappers took a step forward, and then narrator, fast-paced. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, congresswoman, activist, public servant, did something she'd never done before. She risked everything. She turned, grabbed the little girl's hand, and sprinted into the storm. But as Alexandria ran into the rain, she had no idea. The child she was saving was the daughter of one of the richest men in America. Rain pounded the pavement as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the little girl sprinted out of the dark alley, their footsteps splashing through puddles. The girl's small hand clutched Alexandria's tightly, her breath sharp and uneven. Behind them, angry shouts echoed. The kidnappers were chasing. Ayok breathing hard. Don't look back. Just keep running. The streets were nearly empty now. Most New Yorkers had rushed home to escape the storm. Streetlights flickered in the rain, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Every step felt heavier, every corner more dangerous. A car screeched somewhere nearby, maybe the kidnapper's vehicle. Alexandria's heart pounded like a drum in her chest. She couldn't let them catch the girl. She couldn't let them win. They turned onto a side street, a narrow stretch lined with shuttered shops and flickering neon signs. A few pedestrians glanced their way, confused, as Alexandria shouted, "Ayok, call 911. Someone's after us." But the storm drowned her voice. Thunder cracked across the sky, and most people just hurried past, thinking it was none of their business. Narrator. In that moment, Alexandria realized she was on her own. No security detail, no phone in hand, just courage, instinct, and the terrified child beside her. The girl stumbled. Alexandria caught her before she fell. Ayok softly, "You're doing great, sweetheart. We're almost safe, okay?" Girl crying, "I'm scared." Ayok, "I know, but I need you to be brave just a little longer." Behind them, the men's footsteps grew louder, closer, narrator intensifying. One of them shouted something, but the wind swallowed his words. All Alexandria could hear was the pounding of her own heartbeat and the desperate gasps of the child beside her. They dashed across a busy intersection just as the light turned red. Horns blared. A taxi screeched to a halt, the driver yelling out something in shock. Alexandria didn't stop. She kept going, weaving through the chaos. Finally, she spotted a small 24-hour convenience store up ahead, glowing like a beacon in the rain. She pushed through the door, the bell ringing loudly. The few customers inside looked up in surprise. "Ayok, urgent. Lock the door. Please call the police." The cashier, a young man in his 20s, froze for a second, then saw the fear in her eyes and sprang into action. He grabbed the phone while another customer hurried to the window. "Cashier, what's going on?" "Ayok, 2 men there after this child. I think she's been kidnapped." The girl clung to Alexandria's leg, shaking. Rainwater dripped from their clothes, pooling on the floor. Narrator. For a brief moment, it seemed like they were safe. The sound of sirens in the distance gave Alexandria a flicker of hope. But it didn't last long. The glass door rattled violently. One of the kidnappers was outside, pounding on it with his fist. Kidnapper shouting, "Open the door. She's with us." Ayok shouting back, "The police are on their way. You need to leave." The man glared at her through the glass eyes, full of rage, then disappeared into the darkness. Narrator. Seconds later, the hum of an engine roared nearby. Alexandria peered out and saw a black SUV circling the block slowly, deliberately. They weren't giving up. She turned to the cashier. "Ayok, they'll come back. We need to get this girl somewhere safe before they do." The boy nodded nervously, still holding the phone. "Cashier, police said they're 5 minutes away." "Ayok, that might be too long." Narrator. She looked down at the little girl, who was still trembling. Alexandria knelt to her level. "Ayok, gently. What's your name, sweetheart?" Girl sniffling. "Leela." "Ayok, okay, Leela. You're safe with me, I promise." The girl looked up at her eyes full of innocent trust. That was all Alexandria needed to find her courage again. She scanned the store and exit at the back, leading to the loading dock. If the kidnappers came in through the front, they could slip out the back. She guided Leela toward it, whispering softly, "Ayok, stay behind me. Don't make a sound." Just as they reached the back door, the front glass shattered, a deafening crash. The kidnappers had rammed the door open, customers screaming, "They're coming in." The cashier ducked behind the counter as the 2 men stormed in, shouting for the girl. Alexandria pushed the door open and pulled Leela outside into the back alley once again. Narrator fast-paced. The rain had turned into a downpour. The night felt alive, sirens, thunder, footsteps. The kidnappers were seconds behind them. Alexandria ran toward a streetlight where a few taxis were parked. She waved frantically. "Ayok, taxi, please, help us." A driver rolled down his window, startled. "Driver, Ma'am, what's going on, Ayok? No time. Get us out of here. He saw the fear in her eyes and unlocked the doors. Alexandria and Leela dove inside just as the kidnappers appeared at the end of the alley. Driver shocked. Who are those men? Ayok. Just drive now. The car sped off, tires splashing through the flooded streets. Alexandria looked back. The SUV was following them. Narrator. Rain blurred the city lights into streaks of color as the chase continued. Alexandria's mind raced. Who were these men? Why had they taken this little girl? She looked at Leela, who was clutching a small silver bracelet engraved with a name Alexandria didn't recognize. But one detail stood out, a diamond insignia that looked custom-made. This was no ordinary child. If you were in Alexandria's place, would you have risked your life to protect a stranger's child? Tell us in the comments where you're watching this from: New York, Manila, London, Karachi, or somewhere else. Narrator building suspense. As the taxi raced through the storm, Alexandria whispered to the driver, Ayok, head toward the nearest police station. But the driver hesitated, eyes wide with fear. Driver, they're still behind us, ma'am. And I think they're armed. Alexandria turned. The SUV's headlights glared in the mirror, closing in fast. Narrator dramatic close. She realized this was far from over. The men chasing her weren't just kidnappers, they were part of something much bigger. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had just stepped into a conspiracy she couldn't yet imagine. But as the car sped through the rain-soaked streets, Alexandria had no idea the child she was protecting was the missing daughter of one of the world's most powerful billionaires. The taxi's windshield wipers fought against the sheets of rain that blurred everything outside. The streets of New York City were nearly empty now, lit only by the flashing neon signs and the occasional lightning strike that cracked the night sky. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sat in the back seat, one arm wrapped protectively around little Leela, the other gripping the seat tightly. Her heart pounded as the headlights of the black SUV glared through the rear window. Driver panicked. They're still behind us, ma'am. Whoever they are, they're not giving up. Ayok's steady voice. Keep driving. Don't stop no matter what happens. The taxi skidded around a corner, tires screeching against the wet asphalt. The SUV followed, accelerating. The roar of its engine was like a beast chasing prey through the night. Leela buried her face against Alexandria's arm, trembling. Leela whispering, they said they'd hurt me if I screamed. Ayok softly, you did the right thing, sweetheart. You're safe with me now. But even as she said it, Alexandria wasn't sure it was true. Narrator. The SUV pulled closer. One of its windows rolled down and Alexandria caught a glimpse of something metallic flash in the dark. A gun. Ayok sharply, get down. The taxi swerved as a loud bang echoed through the storm. The rear window shattered, glass spraying across the seats. The driver cursed, ducking low as the car fishtailed wildly. Driver shouting, they're shooting at us. Ayok, turn here quick, down that ramp. They darted into an underground parking garage beneath an old apartment building. The car's tires screeched as it spiraled downward into the concrete labyrinth. The SUV followed for a moment, then slowed, unsure where they'd gone. The driver stopped near a dark corner, engine running. Everyone's breathing was heavy. Ayok quietly, lights off, stay still. The garage was silent, except for the sound of rain echoing through the ramp above. Alexandria could hear her own heartbeat in her ears. She waited 1 second, 2, 3, then 10. The SUV's engine rumbled faintly above, circling, then faded. Driver whispering, I think they're gone. Ayok still tense, not yet. We wait. For the next 2 minutes, they sat in the dark, drenched, shivering, listening. Finally, when everything was still, Alexandria exhaled. Ayok, all right, we need to get out of here. Thank you for helping us. Driver, ma'am, whoever you are, you've got guts. Be careful out there. Alexandria smiled faintly, then took Leela's hand and stepped out into the cold air. The smell of oil and rain mixed around them. She found a stairwell and led the girl up to the street level. Narrator. The storm was beginning to fade, but the danger wasn't. Alexandria's clothes clung to her, soaked through. Her mind raced. Who were those men? Why were they so desperate to get this child back? She needed to get Leela somewhere safe fast. They reached a small 24-hour diner, the kind that glowed warm against the wet city streets. A bell chimed as they entered. The waitress looked up, startled. Waitress. Oh my goodness. You two look like you've been through a war. Ayok breathing hard. We just need a place to sit. And a phone. They sat in a booth near the window. Alexandria borrowed the phone and dialed the police again. But before she could finish explaining, Leela tugged her sleeve. Leela softly, "Please don't tell them my name." Aok confused. "Why not?" Leela looking down. "Because the bad men said, if anyone finds me, they'll hurt my daddy." Alexandria froze. Her hand trembled slightly on the phone. "Aok, your daddy? Who is your father, Leela?" The little girl didn't answer. Instead, she pulled out a small silver bracelet from her pocket, the same one Alexandria had noticed earlier. She held it up in the dim diner light. Engraved on it was a single name, Leela Kingsley. Narrator revealing tone. Alexandria's eyes widened. The name hit her like lightning. Kingsley. That wasn't just any name. Kingsley Industries, one of the world's biggest tech empires. The CEO, Richard Kingsley, was one of the richest men in America and known for his philanthropy, his global influence, and his mysterious recent absence from the public eye. Aok whispering, "You're Richard Kingsley's daughter?" Leela nodding slowly. "They took me from my home. They said my daddy wouldn't give them what they wanted." Narrator. Alexandria sat back, the weight of the revelation sinking in. This wasn't just a random kidnapping. This was a ransom plot involving one of the most powerful families in the world. And now she, a congresswoman, was right in the middle of it. She glanced toward the window. Across the street, a dark car idled near the curb, headlights off. Her instincts screamed danger. Aok low voice. "Leela, listen to me carefully. We need to move again. Those men might still be watching." Leela frightened. "I don't want to go outside." Aok. "I know, baby, but we'll find help, real help. Somewhere safe." They slipped out the diner's back exit, moving quietly down the block. Alexandria's phone finally buzzed a message from a trusted friend in law enforcement. "Aok, we're tracking a possible child abduction ring. Multiple high-profile victims. Be careful who you trust." Narrator ominous tone. That's when she realized even the police might be compromised. The night was far from over. If you were Alexandria and you just found out the child you rescued was a billionaire's daughter, what would you do next? Hide her? Call the FBI? Let me know in the comments and tell me what city or country you were watching from. Narrator dramatic close. As lightning flashed above the skyline, Alexandria pulled her coat around Leela and whispered, "Aok, no one's going to hurt you again. I promise." But as they disappeared into the maze of New York streets, a shadowy figure watched from a rooftop, phone in hand. Unknown voice on phone. "We found them. Tell the boss. The girl is still alive." But the deeper Alexandria went to protect Leela, the more she uncovered secrets about power, money, and corruption that reached the highest levels of society. The streets of New York City were quieter now. The rain had stopped, but the air was still thick with tension. Puddles reflected the orange glow of the street lights as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez walked quickly down the sidewalk, her hand holding tightly onto Leela Kingsley's small fingers. They'd been running for nearly an hour, changing streets, doubling back, trying to lose anyone who might be following them. Alexandria's hair clung to her face, her clothes still soaked from the storm. Aok breathing hard. "We'll stop soon, okay? Just a few more blocks." Leela whispering, "Are they still coming?" Aok softly, "Not if I can help it." Narrator. Alexandria wasn't just tired, she was angry. Angry that someone could do this to a child. Angry that men with power could think they could buy or break anyone. And angry that the system, the one she worked inside, could allow it to happen. She needed to think fast. Going to the police was too risky. Her contact's warning still echoed in her head. Be careful who you trust. Then she remembered an old friend, Detective Marcus Hale, an honest cop she'd worked with years ago on a corruption case. If anyone could help her quietly, it was him. She pulled out her phone and dialed. Aok urgent. "Marcus? It's Alex." Marcus groggy. "Alex? It's 2 in the morning. What's going on?" Aok. "I don't have time to explain. I've got a kidnapped girl with me, Leela Kingsley." Marcus suddenly alert. "The Kingsley kid? She's been missing for 3 days. There's an FBI task force on it." Aok interrupting. "No, listen to me. The people after her might be connected to that task force. We can't trust anyone official." A pause. Then Marcus's voice hardened. "Marcus, where are you?" Aok. "Near 14th and Broadway." Marcus. "Stay there. I'll come to you. Don't talk to anyone." She ended the call and led Leela toward an old bookstore cafe, one of the few open late. Inside, The lights were dim and the smell of coffee filled the air. A few students sat scattered around with laptops, unaware of the storm that had just passed. Aok gently, "Let's sit over here, okay?" "Leela, is that man coming to help us?" Aok smiling faintly, "Yes, he's a good man." Narrator. As they waited, Alexandria finally had a moment to breathe. She watched Leela sip a cup of hot chocolate the barista had given her out of kindness. There was something heartbreakingly pure about the little girl, as calmness as if she was used to chaos. But Alexandria's mind kept racing. If Leela's father was as powerful as she thought, why hadn't he already found her? She pulled out her phone and searched for news updates. The headlines told part of the story. Billionaire Richard Kingsley missing from public view, rumors of corporate espionage. Kingsley Industries faces internal scandal. Kidnapping suspected, no official statement yet. Her stomach tightened. Something about this didn't feel like a normal ransom case. Then the cafe door opened. A tall man in a brown coat stepped in. It was Marcus Hale. He spotted Alexandria immediately and hurried over. Marcus quietly, "You weren't kidding? You look like you've been through hell." Aok tired smile. "Feels like it too." Marcus kneeling to Leela, "Hey there, kiddo. I'm a friend. You're safe now, okay?" Leela softly, "Promise?" Marcus, "Promise." He turned back to Alexandria. Marcus lower voice, "You weren't wrong to be cautious. I've been hearing whispers that the Kingsley case is being buried from the inside. Someone powerful doesn't want the truth coming out." Aok frowning, "Why?" Marcus, "Because it's not about ransom. It's about leverage. Kingsley's been working on something, a clean energy technology worth billions. Some people would kill to control it." Alexandria felt a chill run down her spine. This wasn't just a kidnapping, it was corporate warfare. Aok, "So they took his daughter to force him to sign something?" Marcus, "Exactly. And if you've got her, Alex, you just made yourself target number one." Before Alexandria could reply, Marcus's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and his face changed. Marcus quietly, "We need to leave. Now." Aok, "What happened?" Marcus, "Someone just leaked my location. They're tracking us." Narrator. The three of them hurried out the back exit just as a black van turned onto the street. Alexandria's pulse spiked. Headlights swept across the cafe windows. They ran through the narrow service alley, Marcus leading. Leela clung to Alexandria's arm, stumbling over puddles. A gunshot cracked in the distance, then another. Bullets pinged off metal. Marcus shouting, "This way." They darted through a construction site, weaving between scaffolding and concrete blocks. The sounds of pursuit grew louder. Footsteps, shouts, engines. Aok breathing hard. Marcus, "They're everywhere." Marcus, "We'll make it. There's an old subway entrance ahead sealed off, but we can break in." Narrator fast-paced. They reached the rusted gate of the abandoned subway tunnel. Marcus yanked it open just enough for Leela to crawl through. Alexandria followed, then Marcus. Inside it was pitch black except for their phone flashlights cutting through the dust. They moved deeper underground, their footsteps echoing. Finally, they stopped in an old maintenance room. It smelled of rust and oil. Leela shivering, "I'm scared." Aok kneeling beside her, "I know, baby, but you're so brave. You're stronger than you think." Marcus, "We'll rest here a few minutes. I'll check the exits." He stepped away, flashlight sweeping over the cracked walls. Alexandria sat beside Leela, heart still pounding. Then she noticed something. Leela's bracelet was blinking faintly. Aok confused, "Leela, where did you get that bracelet again?" Leela, "Daddy gave it to me. He said it would help him find me if I got lost." Narrator realization dawning. Alexandria's eyes widened. The bracelet wasn't just jewelry, it was a GPS tracker. Aok urgent whisper, "Marcus, they're tracking her through the bracelet." Before he could respond, a loud clang echoed from the tunnel. Metal footsteps. Dozens of them. Marcus grimly, "They found us." Trapped underground with nowhere to run, Alexandria must decide: destroy the tracker and risk losing their only link to Kingsley, or keep it and face the men closing in. The old subway tunnels beneath New York City were silent, until they weren't. Metal footsteps clanged through the darkness, echoing off the damp walls. The sound grew louder with every second. Boots, voices, and the sharp crack of a flashlight beam cutting through the dust.